Every time I see these fucking stupid debates, you're 2 seconds to be talking about, well, fucking pedos
What's your
are
view,
okay
Keem?
or some shit. My view is you're all fucking weird.
No.
Fuck off.
Okay, that was the stupidest thing
Alright.
I've ever dealt with.
Keemstar, everybody.
That was
Team
that
with
was
the
like-
classic
debate is
team and
lame
like-
and gay.
that was
What's
pretty.
wrong
That
with
was
you
pretty.
fucking
That
idiot?
was pretty
Oh, you guys
disappointing.
are having a discussion. I don't like discussion.
You know, that was the equivalent of like getting horny, like, oh, Keemstar's gonna join, Keemstar's gonna join, and then feeling the immediate regret of like, oh fuck, you know, he just blew his load and left.
I thought
you
he
know?
would make like a
Alright, listen.
point. I thought he would like have
I have
something to
I thought
say.
so too.
I have a
but-
couple of topics I want to talk about.
Sure.
I want to talk about Loli with Flamenco
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Okay.
because, as we all know, Flamenco pleasured himself to materials involving depictions of a minor
I'll
sometime
be back.
ago.
I'm still listening. I'll be back.
God.
And
Not according to
I want
like
to say,
multiple people, apparently, though. So
I want to say, okay, well, you were accused of doing that and you confessed to it, but now you want to walk that back. That's fine.
No.
Did you pleasure yourself to images of a minor?
No, I don't think so.
So what's this whole thing about? It just
Do you want me
didn't
to
happen?
look?
People are saying that it is, but people are also saying that it wasn't. So I don't
How many
know.
people are saying you?
All right,
Okay,
Flamenco.
Apparently veto. So I don't know.
No, I haven't said anything. Well, I have said I've looked into it. I guess the question
Vito
is
said the character is 15. Vito said the character is
Wait,
15.
what?
the question is, did you ever beat off to that manga that you had favorited on an old hentai account? And you can plead the fifth.
Probably,
I'm not gonna- Okay.
Okay, so if you probably did that, that means you.
And I'll
you-
clarify that if you read that manga really carefully, even though all the characters are supposedly in college, there's one panel that establishes that the main character may be a 15-year-old anime girl.
Oh,
Which I
had no fucking clue about that shit.
I am gonna.
Oh
say,
yeah, if you had, so you're
Hold
saying
on,
if you had
hold on,
known,
hold
if you had known that, you would never.
It would be a little bit. It
you
would be a little bit more weird. Yeah, I think.
It'd be a little more weird, but would you? Are you
yeah.
saying
I
you
wanna
wouldn't
say-
have?
can I
You
say
would, so if you had known that, are you saying that if you would? Are you fucking saying if you had known that, you wouldn't have done it?
Yeah, probably.
You would have been like, ooh, this is.
Yeah, it's a little
like,
weird that they're explicitly stating that. Yeah, I'd be like, that's a little weird.
I will say on Flamenco's behalf, I want to be clear. The only way you could know that is if you read to the very end of this, like 200.
Yeah, I didn't like write a book report about it.
Vito, which page?
It's like page like one. I think it's like page like 189 out of 200. That's the only way you could have figured out their math, and you would have had to do the math in your head of what age they are.
The way that I kind of see this, and I think I think this sort of like plays out into other things, because I think this sort of plays into what Mr. Girl was saying.
Yeah.
Before is like you see like a really really hot woman, and she's like 18 years old, but then you find out she's like mentally 5. You're not like a creep for like being attracted to them before then, but you are a creep if you take advantage of that person. You know what I mean? And I think that
you raped an anime girl, but you didn't know any better.
I think it's like fundamentally that's the problem. I would say. I don't know.
Okay, so you're honestly telling us that the same image on a piece of paper you jerked off to happily, but if you found out that this next to the image the number 15 appeared, then you would not do it because
I'd feel pretty weird about it.
No. Let me finish. You're saying you wouldn't do it if the same image and you're still sexually aroused by the image, but you'd stop because the number 15 made you feel weird. But if you could hire the artist to come over to your house and change the number from 15 to 18, then you'd feel comfortable doing it. That's what you're fucking maintaining to us right now.
Yeah.
This is the biggest fucking virtue signal I've ever heard in my entire life.
I don't think it's a virtue signal.
You fucking
I think
psycho.
It's the explicit,
it is absolutely a virtue signal. Why don't you just take a pen? Why don't you just take import it into Photoshop?
I think it's the explicit statement of I think it's the explicit statement of like, oh, this character is like 15 or something. That adds like a little bit of like just weird. Like, why is that being added? That adds a little bit of like weird shit into it. You know what I mean?
I can almost understand where Flamenco's at, Mr. Girl, and I'm going to tell you
because to bring it to like a real world example. I think like I think
let's not bring it to a real world example. Let's stick with talking about cartoons.
I know,
so we're fucking.
I know, but to bring it to a real world example,
you're going to inject some fucking morality thing or some kid being abused.
I'm not injecting any abuse. I'm just like bringing up a thing that happened in real life. the people that were getting like really, really, really excited about like Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen turning 18. Like, they're going to be legal now. It's just like, that's a little weird because you're like, oh, this person's 17. I can't do this. This person's 18. I can do this. And this is like 35-year-old dudes. I think like them being 17 or 18
are you attracted
isn't really
to the age?
Yeah.
Part of it.
Well, it's that. And also like, the only thing that's stopping me from openly sexualizing these people is that they're under 18.
Wait, that's the same thing that you just fucking said. You just said you would jerk off to the same picture, but the only thing stopping you from doing it would be the number next to it says 15 instead of 18. And then you said, let's bring up an example of other people doing the exact same thing that I just said I'm doing right now.
No, because they were saying that, we get to now openly sexualize them. It's not completely fucking weird.
I think Flam is saying it's like a mental block.
Wait, no, stop.
Go ahead.
You're saying we all understand if the number at the end of the book had said 18 and everybody found out, you jerked off to drawings of an 18-year-old, everybody would be okay with that. They'd say, now you can openly sexualize an 18-year-old. But if the number next to the character is 15, then you're saying it's weird. That's the exact same thing as Mary-Kate and Ashley being 17 versus 18.
Except it's
just the number. Nothing's changing except the
weird.
number.
The weird part about it is the open sexualization of them.
I think it's the sexualizing.
What the fuck does this have to do with you privately jerking off
the age,
to pictures of a girl? Okay, so you're saying if you have a picture of a woman who's 30, say she looks like she's in her mid 30s, she's like she's a I don't fucking know, a nurse, and you're jerking off to pictures of her, but then on the next panel it says this woman who looks like a nurse, she's 35, she's actually 7 years old.
If you continue doing that, it'd be a little weird.
No,
I would say.
Yeah, so if you saw that, you'd be like, oh my God, my brain just rewired itself and I've been jerking off to a picture of a 7-year-old. I hope my friends on YouTube don't fucking find out about this and dogpile me, because now I'm a pedophile. This is so insane.
Well, again, I think it's like if you like take a look at that, internalize that, and then go ahead, then it becomes a little bit more weird. Like
that is an interesting point, because that's kind of where me and Mr. Girl disagree. Is like at a certain point there is a choice to be like, okay, well, do I continue with this fantasy knowing the implications of it are, as like a minor or someone? And by the way, I want to say something too. 100 years ago or whatever, like our parents or their parents' generation, it was not weird to like marry a 14-year-old. Like a 20-year-old or something, to marry a 14-year-old, or even something crazier than that, big age gaps. Yeah. But I do think a distinction worth making is like when it is the sexualization of a minor is the problem, where it's like, okay, when our grandparents' generation was doing that, they did that because there was a practical aspect to marrying someone young and having kids and raising them on a farm, whatever the case was. But I think that, again, it goes back to like the distortion thing and the pornography thing. It's like, this is when it's a sexualization of minors, I think that's a problem. And then Flamenco, what you're saying, I think that's a good point. You're saying I have a conscience and I don't want to indulge in this.
We add qualifications to things that we add like things that stop us from doing things that we would otherwise maybe be more okay with when given like further information. I think like a good example is you might find like a person really attractive,
it's
but
fictional. Like, it's not real information.
I know, but somebody
wrote on a page. You're giving an example in a real world that does not apply. You are virtue signaling.
I am.
Do you know that you're lying, or do you really believe this?
Wait, I really do believe everything.
Flamenco, hold on. Let me ask you this.
Oh my
Flamenco,
God.
do you think? I think Flamenco, though, Mr. Girl would say, even though it's just fictional, even though it's just on a page, right? It still matters.
Stop! Make it stop! We're having this is big controversy. Was a guy accidentally jacked off to a picture of a 15-year-old high school student? That's what all this is about?
But he doesn't want to continue down that road. That's what Flamenco's trying to say.
Well, I wouldn't even be upset, honestly. Like, this is, as I've said before, it's like a boring bitch schoolgirl fantasy. If a guy jerks off to Sailor Moon, even though Sailor Moon is technically like 15 or 16, like we know she's not drawn like a little kid. There's no problem. I think Flamenco is saying you know, if the story is focusing on, oh, look at how young she is, you know, let's fuck her young body, then that would be uncomfortable regardless of if she's drawn like a older.
It wouldn't be uncomfortable. No, it wouldn't be uncomfortable. It's fine.
I think it would be uncomfortable if the dialogue says, I can't wait to fuck this little kid, I'd be like, whoa.
That's the fucking point. There's no fucking point to jacking off to Loli.
The context matters.
The point of jacking off to Loli is the fantasy of fucking little girls.
I don't want to hear the point of jacking off to Loli.
So the last fucking thing I want if I'm jacking off to Loli is for the Loli to be like, oh, by the way, she's technically she's 18 and this is all perfectly above board and consensual and legal. Everything's fine. It's like, no, if I'm jerking off to nasty, filthy fucking shit, I want it to be nasty and filthy. What the fuck is going on? What is happening?
Maybe
I feel like you're gaslighting me.
But you just said that like the reason why you want to fap to something is because it's degenerate and gross. But if you don't know that it's degenerate and gross until afterwards, and then you stop doing it, then I guess
you are hereby absolved of your sin.
I don't care. I genuinely don't care.
Look, Flamenco
like
is
people,
you do care because you said you would. You said you wouldn't have done it if you knew.
The only people that are actively going about me for this, the only people that are going after me about this are people who already didn't like me to begin with. Their opinion means like next to nothing to me.
You know, there's a
way to think about it, Flamenco. That's a healthy mindset.
I think Flamenco doesn't think that he's reduced to his desires sexually, and
past desires, namely, holy shit,
he's not reduced to that. And Mr. Girl is saying, fine, just indulge in it because those desires are part of you anyways. And I'm saying they might be something that arises in you, but they don't have to define you and they don't have to be indulged. And it doesn't have to be the road you go down just because you feel.
I don't understand.
That way.
Like
no. But
like you guys,
Flamenco can be attracted to the body of the character, but he can be unattracted when the manga starts going into look at how young she is. This is a fucking sex crime.
God.
And that is a bridge too far for him. I think that's reasonable. No,
I think that's reasonable.
I think
the
it's
comic
insane.
doesn't do that.
I think you're all fucking insane. I think it's insane that you guys can't conceive. You guys can't conceive of the idea that you could jerk off to Loli and then have it not be one of the most important things you've ever done, or have it not be a huge part of your life, or have it not be worth talking about years later. But like, no, it's just totally unacceptable. I find this all completely.
I don't think he should be shamed for it in the way, whatever way that it happens.
It's not even fucking worth talking about. I would be like, if I found out that if I found out you jerked off to Loli 4 years ago or 4 days ago, I would be like, cool. I wouldn't even.
Of course,
it wouldn't even
like
occur. It wouldn't even occur to me
either. Like,
it wouldn't even occur to me to talk to you about it. I wouldn't even say.
I would talk to you about it in private.
I understand why someone personally would find. Like, let me put it this way: if you saw like a picture of a hot chick, and you're like, "Yeah, that chick's really hot," and then on the next page it goes, "And she just drank a bucket of vomit. She just drank 10 fucking buckets of vomit." And you go, "Ew, I don't want to jerk off to that anymore because it's fucking weird."
Yeah, that's because that's gross. But
it's
being
also
15
gross if you're fetishizing, you know,
a 15-year-old cartoon character isn't gross.
I can understand that somebody is just like, I'm just morally opposed to it, and it fucks me up to think about it. That being said, Boy Soprano, I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10.
Okay. I'm going to fucking shoot myself now.
It's not even that bad. One of them's 15.
You're going to shoot. You realize how fucked up that you're going to shoot yourself because we're telling you it's okay that you jerked off to
it's one I'm being completely sarcastic, and two, it's the overall like situation that spawned from it, not necessarily like this conversation.
I know. I feel bad.
I'm telling Mr. Girl because I think he actually thinks that I'm like actually gonna fucking off myself afterwards.
No. I think that it is true. This situation with you has been wildly overblown. Now your prolapse fetish, I don't get it, but hey, no, I'm just. I know you don't. I'm fucking.
Didn't even fucking.
We didn't have to go there. All right, Nicholas Diorio wants in. What do y'all think about that? If y'all think we're adding to, okay, well, there we go.
Can I say one thing?
But Glink has to, hold on. Glink has to remove somebody because we have too many people in here. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Keem.
I don't even. Hold on a second.
Bye, Keem.
You know, if I wasn't exposed to pornography, I wouldn't even know what a prolapse is. So there's an example.
Yeah, that's healthy.
I already knew
Now,
that.
if it happens to you, you'll know how to deal with it. Is have someone lick it, apparently.